Robots filming people in the bathroom, a family horrified when their security camera tells them a nuclear attack is about to erupt, and casino goers' personal information gets leaked after a smart thermometer in a fish tank gets hacked. These are more smart devices that recorded something they shouldn't have. iRobot is the company behind the Roomba. In 2020, iRobot ran a program to improve AI for its high-end Roomba J7. As part of that program, specially equipped Roombas were placed in participants' homes to collect video and images. These were not regular consumer Roombas. They had extra cameras, were labeled with a bright green sticker reading video recording in progress, and the people involved were paid and informed that their footage would be sent to iRobot. Participants were told to keep sensitive areas like bathrooms off limits for obvious reasons, but despite those precautions, some images still ended up where they shouldn't be. One included a photo of a woman on a toilet. The footage had been sent to Scale AI, a company that hires people around the world to label photos, video, and audio for AI training, and some of these workers shared the images in private Facebook and Discord groups. After MIT Technology Review reported on this, iRobot confirmed the leak and said it was taking actions. Point is though, data collected for AI can end up in the wrong hands, so be mindful of what areas your smart devices can see and don't assume that they automatically protect your privacy. A family in Orinda, California thought they were about to live through a nuclear attack, and it started with their own security camera. In 2019, a Nest camera sitting on top of their TV suddenly began speaking and announced that 3 North Korean missiles were headed for Chicago, Los Angeles, and Ohio. Laura Lyons said the warning claimed the US had already struck back and that people had 3 hours to evacuate. It sounded completely legit, she said, and it was loud and got our attention right off the bat. It was 5 minutes of sheer terror and another 30 minutes trying to figure out what was going on. Her son was so frightened that he crawled under the rug. What made it worse was that the family didn't even know the camera had a speaker, let alone that someone else could hack into it. After calling Nest and emergency services, they learned that the warning was, of course, fake. The camera itself hadn't been hacked at the company level. Instead, someone had logged in using a password the family had reused elsewhere online. Alright, this next one is like some serious cyberpunk level stuff. Casino goers' personal information got leaked after a smart thermometer in a fish tank was hacked in 2018. At a Wall Street Journal panel, Nicole Egan, CEO of cybersecurity company Darktrace, talked about a casino that had installed a smart thermometer to monitor the water in an aquarium in its lobby. Hackers spotted it, and as Egan explained, the attackers used that to get a foothold in the network. They then found the high roller database and then pulled that back across the network, out the thermostat, and up to the cloud, end quote. That database contained the personal information of some of the casino's biggest spenders. Egan made it clear this was not an isolated incident, saying, quote, "There's a lot of Internet of Things devices, everything from thermostats, refrigeration systems, HVAC systems, to people who bring in their Alexa devices into the office. It expands the attack surface. And most of this isn't covered by traditional defenses." Rochelle Metz was digging through her Alexa history one day when she realized the device wasn't just waking up for commands, it had been quietly recording everyday moments inside her house. It heard me complain to my dad about something work-related, chide my toddler about eating dinner, and talk to my husband. The kinds of normal everyday things you say at home when you think no one else is listening, Rachel said. She ended up writing about it for MIT Technology Review. The piece came out in May of 2018 with the headline, "Yes, Alexa is recording mundane details of your life, and it's creepy as hell." The article made the rounds online, especially on Reddit. A lot of people weren't shocked at all. If anything, they felt validated. Plenty of commenters said this was exactly why they never trusted smart speakers in the first place. Astro was Amazon's attempt at a home robot. It wasn't meant to clean your floors or serve you tea though. It was a security robot designed to move around your house on 3 wheels using cameras, sensors, and Alexa to watch what was going on. Amazon said it could check if you left the stove on, patrol rooms where you're out, stuff like that. It also used facial recognition to detect people it didn't recognize. Astro launched launched alongside a bunch of other Alexa-powered devices, most of them for home security. By that point, Amazon had already sold 1.4 million Ring doorbells in 2020 and signed agreements with more than 2,000 police and fire departments. That's where critics started pushing back. According to Dr. Kate Devlin, quote, "Techno-snitching is definitely a thing. We're encouraged to weaponize data by sharing it with law enforcement or by naming and shaming online, with little regard for the consequences." She also warned that bias in AI means there are, quote, "members of our society who face active discrimination from these same systems." Sandra Wachter, a professor at Oxford Internet Institute who studies privacy AI and how technology should be regulated, said a detailed home map was, quote, "ideal for thieves," and questioned who would want a, quote, "camera on wheels staring up at them during their most intimate moments." Her verdict: "I don't think I would feel safer if I had a robot in my house. I'd rather have a dog." Toward the end of 2022, Eufy, a major smart camera brand owned by Anker, got into some hot water when a security researcher and YouTuber named Paul Moore posted a video saying Eufy cameras were sending photos, videos, and facial recognition data to the cloud. And that was a problem, because Eufy had repeatedly told customers that everything stayed local on the device. Moore claimed that data was being uploaded to Amazon Web Services or AWS servers run by either Anker or Eufy. Some issues were later patched, but there was no way to confirm whether data that had already been stored in the cloud was actually deleted. And there was something worse. It turned out that live, unencrypted video streams from Eufy cameras could be viewed using VLC Media Player. Asked about it, Anker senior PR manager Brett White said it wasn't possible, but The Verge, for those who don't know, The Verge is an American technology news website, well, they tested it anyway and proved him wrong, writing, "We've repeatedly watched live footage from 2 of our own Eufy cameras, proving that Anker has a way to bypass encryption. There was no evidence that anyone had actually hacked the cameras, but the way to get access was surprisingly easy. You just needed the camera's serial number, which can be decoded with free online tools, a timestamp that anyone can make, and a simple 4-digit code that could be guessed in a few tries." Some folks love their smart bulbs. Screw them in, open the app, and suddenly your lights are on your phone. What a group of researchers noticed, though, was that there are some potential dangers of this convenience. Researchers from the University of Catania and the University of London took a close look at TP-Link bulbs in the Tapo app and found a couple major flaws. They picked Tapo bulbs because they were popular and a good example of the kinds of smart devices sitting in millions of homes. The worst issue involved how the bulb authenticated itself. One flaw, rated high severity, made it possible for an attacker nearby to impersonate a bulb during setup. That could lead to stolen Tapo account credentials and even control over other Tapo devices. Another high severity problem came from a hard-coded secret inside the app that could be pulled out by reverse engineering it. So basically, by combining these 2 flaws, an attacker could trick the app into handing over a homeowner's Wi-Fi name and password. But TP-Link apparently fixed the problem after being notified. In 2015, Charlie Miller, a former NSA hacker, and Chris Valasek from IO Active proved they could remotely mess with a car while it was actually being driven. In a controlled test, they targeted a Jeep Cherokee using its built-in Uconnect system. From miles away, they got into the vehicle through the entertainment software. First came harmless stuff. The radio suddenly turned on, dashboard functions started acting weird. This was just to show they were inside. Then they went further. They rewrote code in the entertainment system and used the car's internal network to send commands to the steering, brakes, and engine. There are hundreds of thousands of cars that are vulnerable on the road right now, Miller said. And according to Valasek, anything that connects to the outside world is an attack vector from my point of view. From Reddit user Quiet Packet 5951 comes the story of the creepy smart TV. A couple years ago, I bought a smart TV, one of those models with a built-in voice assistant. I never used the voice features. I didn't even set them up. I just wanted a cheap TV that streamed Netflix. One night, my partner and I were in the living room talking about a pretty specific medical issue she was dealing with. Not yelling, not talking to the TV certainly, just sitting on the couch. No phones out, no hey Google, nothing like that. Well, about 20 minutes later, an ad popped up on YouTube for a treatment related to exactly what we were talking about. Same wording, same condition, Not something either of us had ever searched before. First I brushed it off as a coincidence, but then it happened again a week later. Different topic, same deal. Private conversation, eerily specific ad. I unplugged the TV from Wi-Fi after that. Well, with all that said, I've been your host James, and I will catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.